Mighty Radio.
Hello there and welcome to this brand new edition of 5RoundMMA. My name is Alex Ramirez, alongside me my co-host Guillermo Cita and Albert Cita. This is the day before the Rumble, or the day we're recording early today because the Royal Rumble is today. So
we don't care about the Broncos or the Patriots or Arizona.
I do.
No,
I don't care about the Rumble.
We care about the Rumble.
So this is a guy who's texting the group text this whole weekend about the Rumble and who should win it and why they should win it. I don't care about the Rumble. Come on, man. Don't play it cool. So today's show, this is MMA show 5RoundMMA. We're talking about BJ Penn possibly making a comeback, or I think he is going to make a comeback. Just who, when, and where. Vitor Belfort versus Jacare. Tony Ferguson versus Michael Johnson. The UFC holding back. And also, Conor McGregor still in the show once again. And, of course, the UFC on Fox, Johnson versus Bader preview. So, before we get started with the actual show, did you guys see Ronda Rousey on SNL this past weekend?
No, you know what? I didn't. I just saw the opening clip with her and Selena Gomez and stuff like that. It didn't catch my attention.
Yeah, it's not like I'm hating on Rousey. It's just I haven't seen an episode of Saturday Night Live in like 15 years.
Yeah.
So it's just like I don't watch SNL, so I'm not going to tune in to watch Rousey on SNL. It's nothing against her or anything like that. It's just I don't watch that show. So
no, I don't watch SNL either. But I did see last week just because Adam Driver. I'll watch it for Adam Driver.
Who's Adam Driver?
He's the guy that played Kylo Ren in Star Wars.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So obviously I saw that.
Yeah. So mixed reviews about Rousey and SNL, but I mean I wasn't expecting him out of the ballpark. I mean when Peyton Manning did an okay job, right? I mean I don't know.
Just because you kick it with Amy Schumer or whatever doesn't mean you pick up some stand up.
Nah, whatever. SNL, I don't watch that show. So let's get started with today's show. So put a timer on the clock for me, please. Round number one, the return of the prodigy, BJ Penn. He's been very active on social media. I think it first started with him hanging out or training with Jackson Winklejohn, fight camp with John Jones, Holly Holm, all of them. Then he called out Nick Lentz for something. Nick Lentz wrote a poem about him a couple years ago, I guess. And then he got rejected by Nick Lentz. And then after that, he kind of said, you know what, BJ Penn's like, I'm going to fight at 145 and want the belt. And then to which Dana White responded like, you know what, I don't know if he's going to return or not. And then a couple of days later, Dana White announces that, he's coming back, and he does a fight clip when he knocked out Sean Shirk, I think. So just thoughts on BJ Penn's kind of return, I guess, or one claim he's going to get 145 belt, he's going to tear through the 145 division. I don't know.
To me, it's his name's not as worth as much as it used to, especially with the showing at 145. I don't think any fan is interested in seeing him because what we saw him in his last performance. I mean, like it was so one-sided against Frankie Edgar that me personally, I don't expect this guy making a run at 145.
I think that's why it's hard to get excited. I mean, his last losses were against top tier opponents. I mean, maybe if he fought someone in the middle card, he could do a little bit better. Just to see him fight again.
Just to see him fight. But then go the Fido route. Have all these tomato cans fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think the biggest issue is how he did look at 145. I mean, I think I would be more optimistic if it's the Frank Edgar fight. I saw a little bit of the old BJ, but I didn't even see that. I mean, it was literally a one-sided fight. And it was one of those fights where you're like, I don't even want to watch this.
Well, the only positive I see is his camp change. I mean, it seems like when you go to Jackson's camp, you see a resurgence. I mean, you saw it from Arlovsky. You see it from, Cowboy Cerrone, Overeem. Guys that you thought, maybe they're past their prime, and then Cowboy Cerrone goes on this run. Overeem goes on this run. Arlovsky goes on this run.
Frank Mir a little bit too.
I think maybe that's the only thing that I'm interested to watch is if that plays into a factor into the way he fights. Because I don't know if you guys remember, I mean, like, he looked so awkward. It didn't look like the same BJ when he fought Frankie Edgar. So hopefully with Jackson, I really hope that he does, change a lot the way he looks in the ring. And hopefully it does result in a run at 145.
Okay, so then, like, who's he going to fight at 145? Albert's saying
even
it can't be a top guy, right?
Yeah, even if Nick Lentz were to accept that fight,
he said no. He's not. He's not at 145. He's at 155.
But even that, Nick Lentz isn't considered a top tier in his weight class. especially since he's bouncing back and forth from weight classes. He's a great fighter, but he's not a top tier opponent. So either way, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't see him challenging anybody in the top 5, top 7.
Then what's the point? Like he's saying he wants to make a run at the belt, but if he can't compete against the top guys in the division,
let's look at Conor McGregor. Technically, he didn't have to fight a top 5 person to get a title shot. All he needed was the finish. If BJ Penn can get a good finish against a decent opponent, he might steal the title shot.
He did defeat Chad Mendes. Do you see BJ Penn defeating Chad Mendes?
But before that, he was already guaranteed the title shot.
Do you see BJ Penn defeating Dennis Seaver?
I can see
Dustin Poirier at 145?
Well, here's the thing, though, is like I really want to. I think this Nick Lentz fight is a good thing. It's a silver lining for BJ Penn at 155. If he challenges at 155, remember we saw the best BJ Penn at 155. We saw the worst BJ Penn at 145. So I think
he already said he's thinking about 145. So
and if he was really gunning for Conor McGregor, remember he's bouncing between 145 and 155. So I mean, like as long as he stays in that 2 weight classes, it's fine. What I don't want to see him is go up to welterweight. So I think, so as long as he stays between 145 and 155, taking fights at the 155 division, it's 10 pound different. I know it doesn't sound like much.
No, we all know.
But I mean, like those are really close in weight that maybe I could see him, bouncing back and forth.
But I just think it's kind of like, okay, I mean, fight night featuring BJ Penn, all of that.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
No Fight Pass exclusive. They return to BJ Penn, right?
And it really looks like Diego Sanchez route. I mean, like Diego Sanchez was testing the waters at 145, but he's going to 155. I think BJ Penn maybe didn't like his result at 145. Test the waters one more time before returning to 155. Because I think that's the best we've ever seen BJ Penn at 155.
Obviously, yeah. But I guess we'll see how serious this is when who the UFC picks as his opponent when he comes back, right? If it's like a top guy, then okay, they're trying to give him a serious run. If it's a middle of the road guy, then they just want somebody on the Fight Pass card, right? So, Fight Pass subscribers better get the return of Anderson Silva, the return of BJ Penn. I think is it Pat Milton supposed to come back too? I think I heard a rumor. UFC Fight Pass, get ready, 2016. So that's it for round number 1. Stick around for round number 2. Talk about Vitor Belfort versus Jacare. And does this mean that we're going to see Rockhold versus Weidman too? So stick around, guys. Welcome back. Time for round number 2. It was announced this week that Vitor Belfort will take on Jacare Souza sometime in May in Brazil for UFC Fight Night main event. So, Guillermo, we had a big, long conversation I think last week about what's going to happen with Chris Weidman. So, is this number 1 contender bout?
What did I tell you guys, man? I'm like the smartest one in this.
Well, because last week we talked about Yoel Romero's drug suspension.
And what would I tell you guys? You get 2-time Guillermo Souza because you're like Frankie Edgar. You always wanted the rematch. Chris,
they're setting up for the rematch though, right now.
But that's what I'm saying. That I told you guys that it was going to be Chris Weidman get the rematch against Luke Rockhold because everything Chris Weidman said after the fight was good things that he was saying that it wasn't the best him and and he got his way.
So Belfort versus Jacare in your mind is already setting up Rockhold versus Weidman too.
Yes, because these guys obviously it shows that they're kind of after this fight, the winner has some time before the Chris Weidman versus Luke Rockhold, especially if the fight at UFC
place.
200.
No, that has been announced yet. Albert, do you think this is what that means? Or does it sit out Rockhold until maybe late summer?
What all this means is that they got a definite 1 and 2. They have plan A and plan B. Plan A, obviously, I'm telling you, they want that Anderson Silva fight. If Anderson Silva does really good against Michael Bisping, he gets the title shot and gets rid of Chris Weidman. You're gonna get some weird opponent. But if for some reason Anderson Silva loses, they announce Chris Weidman versus Luke Rockhold. There's a reason why they haven't announced it. You can clearly see that both guys can.
They haven't announced it because have you seen Chris Weidman's face? And
actually, I have seen Chris Weidman's face. Looks pretty good. That's what I was gonna say too. These fighters, they heal pretty fast.
Yeah,
pretty
good. A week later,
he's all fine. He looks normal.
It's just like he's like a black guy, a really bad black guy, but it's not
these guys be taking some good stuff because they
are finally twin athletes. So I would assume.
But the fact that they haven't announced this fight or even hinted that it might be a thing in UFC. I'm telling you, they're going to watch Anderson Silva fight, depending how he does. Depends on who faces Luke Rockhold. Well, I know that because I bet you Luke Rockhold has even told Dana White, "Hey, I wouldn't mind facing Anderson Silva."
Rockhold said he doesn't want to fight at UFC 198. He doesn't want to fight at UFC 199. He wants like UFC 200. He wants a big time fight on a big time event.
The big time money is Anderson Silva. Because he already beat Chris Weidman. So I mean, like, just the name alone,
he murdered Chris Weidman.
Just the name alone, Anderson Silva for the belt, I think sells at UFC 200. I mean, we've been talking about speculation of matches. I think that
especially now with Rousey's out, McGregor says he's gonna dust up Dos Anjos and then be in time for UFC 200. So as of right now, and then Verdun versus Velasquez is happening. It's gonna be kind of close for the heavyweights to fight that quick. So the only really belt left is the middleweight title, right? For the UFC 200. So I mean,
and there's no lackluster of opponents either. We still have Tim Kennedy without an opponent. So technically,
for the title?
No. I'm saying if Anderson Silva faces Luke Rockhold, don't feel sorry for Chris Weidman. He can face like Tim Kennedy, and it still be a very high caliber matchup, and it will have title championship implications to it.
Machida's out there too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to throw a little jab, but Machida's being left out all completely. But there's a reason because Chris Weidman would not want that rematch. Yeah, it makes no sense.
There you go.
So let's talk about we talk about everything except the actual Jacare versus B4 match. So let's spend the last 9 seconds of this round talking about that. How do you see this guy playing out? I mean, it's in Brazil, so it's already kind of shady a little bit with the drug testing. So I'm already having Mike. There's a cloud of speculation go over my head already. So do you like Belfort? Do you like Jacare in this one?
I've always liked Jacare.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jacare.
I'm a big fan of Jacare. I thought his fight with Yoel Romero, it could have gone either way. Me personally, I could have seen Jacare win that fight as well. So
we all know Romero came in under the. so do you think now can Jacare finally maybe end Belfort's rise to the top once again?
I think I want to say that Jacare is really going to show Jacare, but just the fact that he has a couple of TKO KO losses in his record. Oh, I don't know, because everyone's seen when Super Vitor strikes, Dynamite explodes. So
it's like the perfect mixture, right? Vitor Belfort, a fight night in Brazil equals Super Vitor,
and that's
right?
the only reason I wouldn't go 100% Jacare, even though I feel like ever since his last loss against Luke Rockhold, his stand-up has gone like way better, but at the same time, though you're in Brazil against Vitor
on a fight night card.
On a fight night card. So.
Jacare's from Brazil too. So
but I mean, no. But we're saying we don't want to say it, but TRT and stuff like that. It's not really. Yeah.
But it's like Vitor Belfort versus pay-per-view plus title shot equals not Super.
If Vitor Belfort does not win this fight, this is the end of Vitor Belfort in the top of the division as we speak.
Yeah, they can just go fight night versus Dan Henderson again, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so that's it for round number 2. Round number 3, I want to talk about. I want to ask you guys: is the UFC holding back Tony Ferguson, or are they going to try and propel him to a title shot? So come up. All right, time for round number 3. It was also announced this week that a pretty pivotal lightweight bout has been set for UFC 197. Tony Ferguson versus Michael Johnson, the rematch of a couple years ago, which Michael Johnson actually won. I think he's the only guy to defeat Tony Ferguson in the UFC. If you look back, Albert, can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Are you looking? Is that correct?
No, he's not.
Who are you looking at, man? Come on.
Oh yeah, he is looking at it.
Tony Ferguson's last loss was against Michael Johnson.
But is that his only loss in the UFC?
In the UFC?
Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, it is.
Only loss is to Michael Johnson. So, if people listen to the show, even on our website, we're huge Tony Ferguson fans. This guy, he won the Tough Enough when Brock Lesnar was coaching. He was so good. Brock's all come with us, be part of Team Death Clutch for a little bit, and then when Brock left, he kind of dissolved. But I want to think that, hey, is this kind of like a stalling tactic for the UFC? Do they not want him as a...
I totally disagree with that.
Well, what is it, though? What is it? Is this a legit number one contender, or is this like...
I think that this is a good opportunity to showcase Tony Ferguson to the general public, the general fans, because look what card he's on. Who's fighting in this card? It's Dos Anjos versus Conor McGregor, and I think it
lines up.
It lines up perfectly, because then not only Albert talks about plan A, plan B, plan C. I think this is a good plan A. You have Nate Diaz, plan B. You have other possible Eddie Alvarez, plan C. So I think it's a great way to showcase and prove that he is worthy of a title shot.
Good point, Eddie Alvarez. So if Tony Ferguson is successful in his bout against Michael Johnson and to convince you to win, does he leapfrog against Eddie Alvarez, or are they going to set up Eddie Alvarez versus Tony Ferguson?
I think it propels him over Eddie Alvarez. I think people are very upset on how Eddie Alvarez fought that Showtime Pettis fight, but he had to do whatever it took to win. So I totally agree, but he just didn't win over fans.
I just want Tony Ferguson to start getting respect. Albert, am I wrong here?
No, you're not wrong. I think I get frustrated that Michael Johnson has 2 losses, and Tony Ferguson clearly said he wanted a top 5 person. Guess what? Michael Johnson is not in the top 5. He has 2 losses. But the only reason this matchup makes sense is because ever since the Jose Aldo dropout fiasco, they don't want that anymore. So they got 2 potential guys here that can save the card in case somebody gets hurt. They got my boy Diego Sanchez on the card.
Just jump up to the main event.
Hey, you wouldn't want to see Conor McGregor versus Diego Sanchez?
I'd love
potentially.
To see that.
Thank you. The other one, we have Tony Ferguson, who has the legit record to back it up. Okay. So I think he's on the card for safety reasons, and people won't be people won't be yelling if Tony Ferguson doesn't face Michael Johnson.
My thing is Tony Ferguson and eventually get a title shot. Well, is this for him?
The answer is no. No, and because of his opponents. See, they set him up again. Because are you going to tell me that he jumps over Khabib no blah 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 blah?
He's hurt. Don't call me. Khabib's hurt.
He might come back.
He's hurt. Don't talk. I don't know about
and we
Khabib.
still have Anthony Pettis and Eddie Alvarez. How do you jump over these 2 guys?
Anthony Pettis lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, but
he's out.
He's out. I can't see them jumping over him. And what about Eddie Alvarez? Okay, then how did you jump over Eddie Alvarez?
Here's the thing:
because his performance against
here's the thing is because of losses and look at Anthony Pettis, Donald Cerrone, Tony Ferguson with this win propels him. Khabib has been out for almost 2 years. I said that. Okay, so the only person that should be ahead of Tony Ferguson if Tony Ferguson wins is Eddie Alvarez.
What's Alvarez's record in the UFC right now? What 1-2, 1-3?
He's like
2-2.
He's like 2-3.
And how many times has the UFC really followed the ranking system? Be honest.
Exactly.
It's rare. So the thing to me is it's smart because if anything, it saves all these possible matchups for Conor McGregor or Rafael Dos Anjos. If you had put Tony Ferguson, because I heard Khabib is asking for a fight, and Tony Ferguson said, "Hey, you were scheduled against me," because that's what I've heard. Why would you put Khabib and Tony Ferguson and eliminate one of these guys when these guys are up and rising? It's like it's the whole Conor McGregor going the Dennis Seaver route instead of putting Chad Mendes against Frankie Edgar against Jose Aldo and eliminating each other. You have all these potential matchups now. You have Eddie Alvarez, you have Tony Ferguson, and you have Khabib. That's 3 fights.
It's a murderer's row.
And you still have Nate Diaz still. Rising in the rankings. You have 4 potential fights for
and the
Conor
return of BJ
McGregor.
Penn. And the return of Diego Sanchez at 155.
but the initial question was, does this propel him to a title shot? No, it doesn't.
No.
Because I'm telling you, Eddie Alvarez, there's no way you can make the argument that this gives him a title shot. It really doesn't.
To me,
if anything, Rafael, let's say Conor McGregor wins, right?
Yeah.
And he wants to go up to 170 and fight the bout.
He's not gonna.
He said, "No, wait. I'm just." That's what he said.
Yeah.
Let's take it at face value. Okay. You still have to figure out who's the top opponent. You still have, like I said, Rafael Dos Anjos can probably face Eddie Alvarez, and that will be the number one contender. And guess what? Tony Ferguson gets left out in the picture again. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's the whole thing.
But if he were to face, let's say if it was Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson, oh, dude, I think that propels him to the number one contender.
To me, I think if the win here, Ferguson should get number one contender, I think. But
yeah, I agree.
Guillermo agrees. So that's it for round number 3. We'll take a quick little break. Coming back, we're going to talk about Conor McGregor and his he stole a show again at their press conference and his El Chapo uniform. And also we'll take a look at UFC Fox, Johnson vs. Bader. Stick around, guys. All right, thanks for sticking around. Time for round number 4. Conor McGregor once again does what Conor McGregor does best. UFC had the
he sells out press conferences.
They had the UFC 197 official press conference.
Even though he was 30 minutes late. He actually ticked off Dana White. I think he said something like, we were cool until today.
Yeah.
But that's because
man's a busy man, right?
he was upset that he was 30 minutes late.
Yeah, members of the media waiting for him.
But I forgot what he officially said. But once he got there, people didn't care they were waiting for 30 minutes. They were like, we would have waited an hour for this.
Can't you dress like El Chapo did in the Sean Penn interview? So he sells fights, right? But is it kind of like
he doesn't sell a fight? He says everything. He does everything he says.
So is it because Dos Anjos going to get awarded edgewise? Is that why?
Before we get more into it, I was a little bit upset because the Diego Sanchez matchup came in super late. But if they would have announced this matchup earlier, he could have potentially been at the press conference. And Diego doesn't put up nothing. And if Conor McGregor would have said one thing towards Diego Sanchez, Diego Sanchez would have went off. And that would have been beautiful. But because they didn't announce that fight until after the...
I think it was on purpose they announced it.
They knew what was going to happen.
So McGregor, one of the things that he said that It's like to me, I'm going to beat him. It's going to be easy paycheck. I'm going to beat him, cast a check, and be ready by UFC 200. Is that a possibility, you think, guys?
I think so. Especially,
I think he said be ready for Frank Edgar at 200. Did he say, or just said be ready for 200?
He just said
200.
He'll be against Robbie Lawler.
I guess I wanted to hear Frankie Edgar, but he just said
no. I'm pretty sure he's going to be at 200 against Robbie Lawler.
God. Anyway, so get what we're going to say.
Oh, that if he makes quick work like he did against Jose Aldo, it was quick turnaround. Think about it. The last time he fought was like last month?
Yeah.
And he's already going to fight again?
So, but I mean, it goes. I think we're not really giving credit for Dos Anjos, really. I think people are thinking it's easy walkthrough, but this guy might be the hottest fighter in the UFC right now. I mean, you defeat Anthony Pettis in spectacular fashion. You defeat Donald Cerrone, in under a minute or over a minute. And this guy's coming up to his division. He said, "You want my belt?" And so it's kind of a thing there where it's almost a mental game. I don't think the mental game will work for Dos Anjos. You guys think?
Well, if you watch the interview, it wasn't really getting to him. You could tell he was just like whatever. Oh, there's only a couple moments I feel like he really got under his skin. There's one where he even told the reporters, "Why don't you ask him? If you're gonna ask me a question, just ask him since he's the one answering it." But to me, that felt like it got a little bit under his skin.
But I mean, okay, so if you're going to fight Conor McGregor, you should know to expect this, right? So this is part of the game plan now for most fighters. So can Conor McGregor continue this, this trash-talking game plan of his with other guys are known about? Just ignore him, and whatever he says is going to be...
The thing is, the great thing about Conor McGregor, he does his homework. If you haven't seen it, everything he can use to fuel his fire, he's going to use. And sometimes it's that research that he prepares himself. He's very well-spoken, too. I mean, obviously he's covering this material beforehand. All these statistics, all these facts. That's the thing is that no matter if you can be like Dos Anjos, very,
It's not just generic trash talk, I'm going to smash your face in. He goes personal stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. And to Dos Anjos to say, it's not going to get under my skin. I mean, he does his homework. He finds out the most personal stuff about you, and he uses that against you. So I think Dos Anjos will crack as well, because all it takes is one thing for Conor McGregor, and they're going on a tour press.
Yeah.
So to Brazil, it's only a matter of time before he says the right thing. He steals Dos Anjos' belt like he did Jose Aldo and gets under his skin.
And also on this press conference was Holly Holm versus BJ Penn.
Yeah, they were there too. But before he did bring up a good point, because the reporters asked, even Rafael Dos Anjos said, they asked him, what do you see your advantage at 155? He's like, well, we're bigger. We're a bigger division, this and that. But Conor McGregor made a very good point. He's 5'9" with the 74-inch reach advantage, right? And Dos Anjos is 5'8" with the 70 reach. So technically, Conor McGregor is the bigger fighter with the reach and everything like that. So when he said that, it kind of blew my mind, because I was like, wait a second. Because in my head, I was like, yeah, your disadvantage is 155 is that you're a smaller guy. But technically, he's fighting a guy that's not necessarily out of his range.
Mm-hmm. Dos Anjos, he can't go at 170. He could be too small.
Because if it was Benson Henderson, obviously we know there's a huge weight gap there.
Yeah.
But I think Dos Anjos might be the perfect opponent for him to win this belt.
Yeah.
Can you look up Robbie Lawler too? I'm just curious because besides weight, height, and reach advantage, maybe it might not be very far fetched to see Conor McGregor win the
5'11", 74-inch reach advantage.
So same reach advantage, but a bigger frame.
Yeah.
So more weight. Let's just calm down the 170 talk here. He has to get over Dos Anjos, and then we'll see. And then Tony Ferguson, hopefully. So that's it for round number 4. Conor McGregor again. We could talk have a show about Conor McGregor.
We could have done round 5 and an extra 6 round.
Yeah, for Conor McGregor. So that's it for round number 4. We have the final championship round number 5. UFC on Fox. Johnson versus Bader. Stick around. Time for the 5th and final round. UFC returns to Fox with a another pivotal light heavyweight bout between Ryan Bader and former contender Anthony Rumble Johnson, taking place January 30th in New York, New Jersey.
I like it.
Your boy Bader.
Don't you ever say that again.
He was your boy.
He was my boy. He let me down.
Always
He's
your
not
boy.
my boy.
Always so close to a title shot, but then he runs into the fist of a Machida or a fist of a Glover Teixeira. And I think on Saturday he might run into the fist of a Rumble Johnson. So, Bader's chances of winning this bout?
90%.
90% chance?
I really think so,
You just
because
blew my mind right now.
I think Ryan Bader has really transformed his game into, like, before he used to, especially if you watch his knockouts, he used to get into the stand-up war against these light heavyweights. I think he's a lot smarter fighter now, and he uses his strengths to his advantage, which is his wrestling.
Well, he did that. Remember, he was undefeated, strictly wrestler. He would ground and pound you, ground you out the window. And then I think he heard some criticism, so I'm going to try and stand up. And that's where it didn't really work out with the Machida. Didn't really work out with Teixeira. So now he's kind of went back to his roots and just wrestling. And now that's his most recent success, right?
Yeah, well, okay. Everybody knows that the best way to beat Anthony Rumble Johnson is on the ground. But that's via submission. I hate to break it, but Ryan Bader isn't known for his submission game. And I really don't see him keeping Anthony Rumble Johnson down there if the game plan is ground and pound. Because Anthony Rumble Johnson is a strong dude, and he has a wrestling background as well. So that's one reason I wouldn't give the advantage to Ryan Bader, just because his submission game isn't at the level as the other fighters have done to defeat Rumble Johnson. And I still feel like he is going to try standing up for the first minute, and that's where he's going to make his crucial error.
I think Anthony Rumble Johnson, if you really look at it, he's strong, but what has it been? He's not good on the ground, and he tires. He has very poor stamina. That's why he has to finish him right away. And that's the Anthony Rumble. So if like Albert says, he doesn't see Ryan Bader taking him down, but if he constantly, tries for the takedowns, constantly takes him down, I could just see Anthony Rumble Johnson fading towards the end of the fight. So I think that's why I give a lot of credit to Ryan Bader, especially if he sticks to the game plan, which he's shown. I know it's not exciting, and that's probably why he hasn't got a title shot, but it's the correct way to win.
His last 5 wins all been decisions. And I just realized right now why you gave him such a high percentage to win. Because Ryan Bader was the man who sent Phil Davis packing to Bellator, didn't he, Guillermo?
Yeah, so I mean, for him to do that to Phil Davis, who was to me considered probably the best light heavyweight, and
not named John Jones, right?
And not be able to get a title shot, just speaks volume that Ryan Bader is. I think is a smarter fighter now.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Bader fight went through all decisions.
Yeah, okay. I think he was able to get a stalemate with Phil Davis, to tell you the truth, and I really do mean that. I mean, it could win either way, that fight. I don't care if Ryan Bader won it. It was a stalemate fight. There is not going to be a stalemate fight with Rumble Johnson, especially if he can land a couple punches. And come on now, we have seen Ryan Bader get viciously beat in the stand-up.
I just think he's too strong. Let's move on. Final points. Yeah.
But he has experience with a similar fight to Ryan Bader, because to me, Glover Teixeira fits the same mold. Yeah. And we know what happened last time he stood up.
So I think we all can agree that this fight can end either one of two ways. One, decision? A knockout by Rumble, or a decision by Bader, right?
Now, if Ryan Bader knocks out Anthony Rumble Johnson, give that guy a title shot.
Also, he's a Bader fan.
No, I'm not a Bader fan, but I'll be like, you know what? Don't even... Daniel Cormier, do not face John Bone Jones, face Ryan Bader, because knockout win would propel him that
All right,
big.
so also on this card, you got Josh Barnett versus Ben Rothwell, which is kind of in the mix for the heavyweight.
No, really. The winner is
it's in the mix. It's in the mix.
Biggest one is Sage Northcutt making his return. Quick turnaround. At welterweight, though, this time, right? He's going to move. Is he staying at welterweight, or is it because his opponent dropped out, right?
Yeah, because the opponent dropped out, so he's getting a new one, and I think he's going to get a lenient there with his weight. That happened before.
Yeah.
When he jumped in there, I think they did a catch weight, not necessarily. I think they did 165. So maybe they're just making it more comfortable knowing that they get him.
So this is Sage Northcutt.
They're babying him. They're babying him. Just hearing that irritates me. Why can't he just stay whatever weight class he was supposed to fight and find somebody available at that weight class, even if it's somebody locally? Do that.
Well,
why baby him?
Because we can't have Sage at the weigh-ins looking all bony, dejected. He has to look good, photogenic, because that's what Dana White likes.
You know how good he's gonna look at 170.
Who cares?
He's gonna be picture perfect.
Dana White's gonna be right there.
I don't care how he looks. Prove it to me in the cage at a weight class against high caliber guys.
That's what Dana White's thinking, though.
The guy over here that says wrestling doesn't sell should know better and know that.
This is not wrestling. Yeah, this is martial arts.
Fighting don't sell in the UFC, son.
Not that Dana White says, right?
Last time I checked, Ryan Bader hasn't got a title shot.
Dana White wants.
Yeah, because what he does, he has no charisma outside the fight game.
We all know Dana White
Conor McGregor has charisma outside the fight game.
He knocks out people.
The biggest thing. DC, beautiful smack talker, way up there. John Bone Jones. Horrible charisma.
All right, shut up. Dana White wants
Thank you,
Sage
Alex.
healtly looking for the cameras, so that's why it's at 170.
Full you sound. I want you to replay this episode and listen to your last 1 minute rant.
All right, so that's it for today's show. We're done.
Tell me if
I
it
want to
makes
thank
sense.
you, all of our sponsors,
Perfect sense.
5 Rounds Clothing Line, Rocking Green, Eco-Friendly Cleaner Products, and of course the RMA Foundation, Redemption Martial Arts. And also check out our podcast under the Fight Book MMA at FightBookMMA.com under the podcast page. It's FightBookMMA.com. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 5RoundMMA. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic. And please visit 5RoundMMA.com and follow the buzzards. Albert, what do you got?
Woo-hoo. Finn Balor, baby. Bullet Club.
The cream of the crop.
You are now listening to Afro Mighty Radio.